must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life. But whoever ignores correction leads others astray. That is in the Bible, Proverbs 10:17. The reason I am quoting this verse, fellow Kenyans, is because the figures that we are hearing today are a clear demonstration that things are not getting better. And people who are telling others that things are better are lying to them. And somehow, somewhere along the line, we seem to have come to the conclusion as a society that things have gone back to normal. Today's figures show things are far, far from normal. Things are very challenging. And those who are exhibiting the indiscipline that I've referred to, leading others astray, are becoming a common phenomenon.
The government of the Republic of Kenya has made efforts, concerted guidelines, and put it out to the public of the Republic of Kenya and the citizens of Kenya. Looking at the trend of what is happening and the events that are shaping around the modeling and the sample modeling of, and a comparison with other states in the world, globally Kenya has done very well. But there seems to be a culture of sliding back, a culture where people want to go back to their old habits. What destroys such an exercise? What brings it to a situation where people need to understand that it is not gone yet, it is here. The virus is here, is with us, is an invisible enemy. An invisible enemy for the people of Kenya to understand that they must help themselves, not to help the government, but to help themselves to fight the enemy. If we don't unite to fight the enemy, if we slide back to our habits, our behaviors, our eating pattern, our socializing pattern, our praying pattern, our stigma, fear, complacency, impunity. These are the things that are letting down Kenya and most of the parts of Africa. It is therefore my opinion, and our opinion, and the opinion of many other people who are at the forefront in fighting this disease, that the people of Kenya stand firm against the few individuals who are violating the regulations, the guidelines, the restrictions that the government has put in place. Your failure to agree or to abide by these regulations might force the government to take more drastic measures that we might not know because we are not part and parcel of the government. But as the media, we sound what the government has said. Failure to adhere to these principles and guidelines could increase the multiplication or multiply the disease, reproduce the disease in the community. The cases of Isli, the cases of Mombasa, Majengo, where people still eat food in one common place as if they don't know what social distancing such acts, barbaric acts, when you have been actually given the guidelines that this disease enjoys where there is company of being together, that this disease kills when you shake hands, that this disease kills when you cough without covering your arm, with the arm, that this disease can kill if you sit in a car with a person who is either a silent carrier, a passive carrier, or an active carrier. It is up to you, the people and the citizens of the country of Kenya, to adhere to Mutahi Kagwe, to listen to the Minister of Health. The cries are not very far. We know the situation might be difficult, and many people are talking of returning to work. I can see many cars in Nairobi streets, plenty of them coming back and the traffic jam building up, which is a sign that people have returned again to work. But is it the time to do so? It is up to you as a citizen. The legacy trend, therefore, myself and other people want to call upon you to desist, to deny these few people who break the curfew, who drink in estates, who break the restrictions, who ferry people, who sleep locked up in a house of about 50 people, who eat badly, who fail to wash hands, that there is no room for complacency, because virus COVID-19 does not choose whom to attack, does not tell you how to attack. It attacks you when you fail to listen to the instructions and the guidelines that the government of the Republic of Kenya has put in place. God bless Kenya.
I'm joining the World Health Organization's Safe Hands Challenge. Hand washing is one of the most effective ways of preventing the spread of coronavirus. Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 40 to 60 seconds.
Today, thousands and thousands of Africans and many countries in Africa have conflicts. Notably, from Libya, Cameroon, Nigeria, Biafra, and the Boko Haram, to Democratic Republic of Congo, of where we have seen a resurgence of the past military and conflicts coming back in that country. Hundreds and hundreds of people have been displaced, killed, maimed, tortured, raped, several of them dying of hunger, starvation, and other natural causes. The fighting seems not to be ending. For the sake of Libya, the Libyan recognized international government is under siege in Tripoli from another faction recognized by Egypt, France, UAE, and other countries. Whereas the one in Tripoli is recognized by the UN, it has been bombarded, has been strangulated, and many millions of Libyans are dying of hunger, lack of water. The water system has been cut off. The bombardment goes on. In Democratic Republic of Congo, we've seen more of active rebel activities returning to the region after some silence has been observed. When we come to Cameroon, we see millions and millions of Amazonians slaughtered. Yet, when you come to Biafra, again millions and hundreds of millions and millions are worried, displaced, tortured by the Buhari regime. Yet again in the north, we see Boko Haram killing, maiming, abducting, and burning down villages in the same Nigeria. When you cross over to Central African Republic, the same is the history that has littered Africa. While all these events are taking shape, Africa is silent. Africa is not making enough efforts to find a solution to what is causing the problems in Libya, in DRC, in Cameroon, in Nigeria, Biafra, and now you add in Khartoum, Sudan. As people die, the people of Africa have no answers, have no solutions. There is nothing to bring an end to the conflicts that have killed Africa. We seem to be new ones manufactured, old ones reignited, encouragement coming from external powers. One power that has been seen in the shadows of all these conflicts, especially the one of Libya that has escalated in the Sahara region of Africa, is France. When you come to Democratic Republic of Congo, the same country is in the shadows. The war can be seen is France. When you come to Cameroon, in Amazonia, the one behind that has the key to bringing peace is France. Therefore, our question as Africans, why are we silent? Why are we not saying enough is enough of the wars? Thank you.
In the case of China, small reforms have been going on all the time in the political system. We fix problems here and there. But I said, the problem is the United States. Your political system was a product of pre-industrial era. And I made a forecast. I said, without significant, substantial political reform, my concern is, in your next elections, you will produce a leader worse off than George W. Bush.
Yes.
So then,
Yeah.
so it was you, it was not the Russians.
Yeah. So this is the Chinese humble advice we can offer. But China is a civilizational state. I remember when Henry Kissinger wrote his famous book on China, he started with this quote. He said, my goodness, look at this China. It's different. China uses this unique language, which started 3,500 years ago. It's 1,000 years earlier than ancient Greek, 1,005 years earlier than ancient Latin. But these two European languages were dead languages. Chinese are still using the same language. This line of culture and continuation of civilization, uninterrupted. So this is why we have indeed, for instance, this whole idea of meritocracy. Why I say confident? I said with my debate with Professor Fukuyama, I said, if you look at the top leadership in China, we've just had the party's Congress, minimum requirement, 2 terms of provincial governor or similar position, which means you have to govern at least 100 million people, given the size of China, before you came to one of the top 7 positions, decision-making bodies. I said to Fukuyama, I said, with this Chinese methodology, meritocracy-based system, we can say with certainty, we can improve the system. There are problems, we can fix it. But we will not produce any leaders like George W. Bush. It's way below the Chinese bar. That's my point.
Today marks a great day for me. For us in Pan-African Forum UK Limited, stand above the threats, intimidation, blackmailing that people receive so as not to speak about what is happening in Somalia. The matter of the Somali link or Somalia link with Qatar must be discussed openly by countries that are taking part in Somalia. The pacification of Somalia, for Somalia to become a state again, there is a need for cooperation. The cooperation to bring about peace is more important than the cooperation of countries that are seeking minerals, diamonds, gold, oil, skins, animals, and the rest from Somalia. My organization does not have a share, neither is it seeking to get anything, but to have Somalia and protect the Ugandan and the Kenyan troops, plus Burundian troops that have gone to do a good job in Somalia. Every time we hear reports of money laundering, some people think it is difficult to find out who has laundered which money, where and how. For us in Pan-African Forum UK Limited, we have networks that have exposed even the ICC before, and we have brought it to its knees for this type of money laundering. Qatar has become the main funder of terrorism in the world. We can now safely agree and safely agree to the people, the countries, especially those countries like Saudi Arabia, that said Qatar is a terrorist organization. It's not a country. Qatar is funding terrorist activities, coming in as economic saviors of some countries in Africa, while they are sponsoring terror groups that are expanding on the coastal line of the Indian Ocean up to Mozambique. It is therefore my duty as an African and us as Africans to point out these mistakes, such that the people can take these mistakes, correct them, and point out to Qatar to stop funding terror activities. 2, it is also very important for the people of Kenya to know that Al-Shabaab, Eritrea, Ethiopia are trading out a deal that will leave Kenya and Uganda in a mess. It is important that Farimajo should not lie to you that he is not having these deals or these negotiations are not taking place. We have evidence, concrete in black and white, of these meetings that are taking place on a daily basis in one of the capitals of the world called Doha and Asmara. These meetings have been taking place, and they are taking place, and that is why the United Nations Security Council failed to condemn Al-Shabaab as a terrorist group. One would wonder why condemn the Taliban, why condemn Boko Haram, but he failed to condemn Al-Shabaab, which has killed us Kenyans, killed us Ugandans, killed Somalis in hundreds and hundreds. Why? 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 Can a government of Farimajo guarantee our peace? The shooting down of a plane commandeered by Ethiopians who are guarding the ground at the flower, who were told the plane had a humanitarian agency, is very dangerous. There is no diplomacy here. The truth must prevail. Ethiopia should stop engaging itself in activities that are going to create hegemony of the what's hegemony in the region. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. God bless Africa. God bless the Pearl of Africa. God bless Kenya. Keep our troops in Kismayo. Give them strength. Our troops in Mogadishu. Give them strength. We shall tomorrow or days to come talk to the owner of the plane that was brought down. We are going to expose all this. We have evidence. It's not local, it is inside. We know what happens and we know what is taking place. Farimajo, Hassan Harriet have become axes of evil. Thank you.
My name is Sophie Mwanyumba from the Ministry of Health and working under National Public Health Labs. Today we are visiting the quarantine sites within Nairobi and the teams are being dispatched out to go and visit the sites. We have the forms which we are going to use to capture the information of the visitors who came from in the country. And we also have the sample collection apparatus, which we have the oropharyngeal swabs and the nasal swabs. And each person is supposed to be taken the 2 samples, the nasal swab and the oropharyngeal swab. We have our PPEs to protect ourselves. We have the safety gears where we are having this, and the disinfection for disinfecting the apparatus which we are going to use. The waste, we have the biohazard bags where we are going to put all the waste which is generated within the site where we are collecting the specimen. We have the biohazard bags to safeguard the environment. And with us, we have the transport media, because we have to make sure that the samples which we are going to carry, they are if the virus is there, they are viable. So we have the transport media which we are carrying with us, and we are maintaining the cold chain because we have the cool box which is equipped with the ice packs to maintain the cold chain of the virus of the samples as we come back. To my fellow Kenyans, I have a word for you today. Kindly stay at home. I am at work to safeguard the environment and to safeguard ourselves. The corona is real. It is real with us. So please let us stay at home as the health workers continue working and supporting the government or the guidelines which they have been put on place.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi, the general headquarters in Nairobi, and myself in the political command center of Punchline Africa Television. This is the Frontline Security. Frontline Security is a show that brings us to security matters, that talks about security, terrorism, counter-terrorism, human trafficking, money laundering, narcotics, drug smuggling, peddling of so many things, information, cyber security. We talk about this in this Frontline from today onwards. We shall be talking about this every, Tuesday, about how our security has been affected by COVID-19, the impact of COVID-19 on the global security. That's our topic this morning. With me to chat this way out, I will begin with the guest. The guest who is an expert in security matters is Major Mbijiwe, Major retired Mbijiwe, a senior consultant in security matters in Africa, in Europe, in Israel, well-trained officer, former officer of the Kenyan Defense Forces. He is going to be with us to scrutinize the effects of security in our region and across and abroad. Therefore, take a pen. Those students who want to learn something about security studies in East Africa, about how international agencies fail to pick how international agencies fail to pick Kabuga, but they allow him 26 years past, then wait for coronavirus, and lastly surrender him to ICTR, International Tribunal of Rwanda. So welcome, Major retired Mbijiwe.
Thank you, Dr. Matsanga, and it's such a big honor to be here today. I pass my regards to Daniel Wesonga and our lovely sister over there. And also a big salute to you, Dr. Matsanga. You've been a wonderful general in the front line, and truly you have set the discourse of history, and history will honor you, sir, and I'm humbled to be your student in these matters.
Thank you very much. With me, we go again, top on the left-hand corner. In the blue corner itself is none other than our senior anchor, researcher, Miriam Ogutu, in the General Command Headquarters of Punchline Africa in CBD, miles away from us in Nairobi. Good morning.
A very good morning to you, and of course, retired Major there, Mbijiwe. Very nice to see you again. I think we had a nearly similar conversation sometimes back last year. Thank you for joining us again.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. With me in the right-hand corner below me is none other than Sin Daniel Wesonga.
Yes.
Daniel Wesonga specializes in investigative journalism. A very top, quiet, resilient investigator. You remember during COVID-19, he traced one Kenyan who is in Sicily, in Italy. To date, the Kenyan embassy has never brought this man, this lady, and I don't know whether she has come back or she's still in Sicily. But welcome to the show, Daniel Wesonga.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga, and the Major retired Mbijiwe, as well as Miriam. Looking forward to a very, very productive show today.
In Khartoum, Sudan, we are expecting Dr. Tony Jaja, Ambassador of Peace at Large. But he will come in later. I don't know what has happened to him, but there he is. He's not here, but he will be joined us, or he will join us later. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, the situation after COVID-19 was declared in our midst. Something went wrong. It looks like terror crime has also come along with COVID-19. Terrorism in North Africa has increased. Terrorism in the region seems to be in the offing, in planning stages. There are people who are being assassinated. Yesterday we lost the governor in Puntland. that is in the same area of what we are going to talk about. In Libya, the armed forces are hitting each other for the capture of Tripoli. In West Africa, we have Boko Haram being wiped out by Chadian army and a Cameroonian army who cannot wipe up a war in their own country, but they are wiping out Boko Haram. Chad, you see quite a lot of developments. Journalists in South Sudan, we see new groups going into Congo, some refugees running into South Sudan. There is our security problem. This show, therefore, we begin by asking, has COVID-19 affected the security situation in Africa? Let's look at the expert, our guest this morning. That's the question, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Matsanga, and to our viewers around the world. COVID-19 has become a global security problem. It's what would fit into what philosophers call, the security question. The security question now has become COVID-19. This has shaken the core of our national security apparatus. I was just studying the other night, Dr. Matsanga, to try and find out in our national security policy, which guides how national security is carried out right from the national security committees chaired by the president all the way down to the agencies, even as spelled out in our constitution. And in all my research, and I dare any Kenyan expert to prove me wrong on this, in all my research, I did not find anywhere in our national security policy that the thought and the threat of a pandemic was ever mentioned in the planning of our national security. I tried to research, I went further. I even got online a copy of our national defense policy, which is what they call white paper. And in our national defense policy, which is what KDF, my former employer, uses in executing defense security for the country, there was never ever seen or written the thought of a pandemic. This in Kenya and regionally and globally then says one thing: no country ever on earth prepared for this pandemic. It is therefore no wonder, Dr. Matsanga, that almost every country has been brought to its knees. Superpowers, United States of America, Japan, third largest economy in the world, Japan. In Africa, South Africa, Egypt, one of the best militaries in Africa. Around the globe, United Kingdom, our former colonizers. Italy is the star of Europe, together with Germany and Spain. Football, who doesn't love football from those nations? And they've been brought to their knees by this COVID-19. So COVID-19 has become a security question, not only to Africa, but to the rest of the world. Security agencies have been challenged to the core, and we can only emerge with the lessons, with the books that history will learn from today and in the coming days. But coming to the earlier part of the question, Dr. Matsanga, the region, indeed, there have been a million issues in this region that have been clouded by COVID-19. COVID-19 has become, I think, the prominence of every security operation and planning in the region. Of course, those who guard us from terrorism are still overworking. Those who guard us from cyber crime are overworking. Those who guard us from common criminals, the police, are overworking. However, everybody's attention has been drawn 85% to the fight against the coronavirus.
You have raised very important questions there, which I'll come back to. It looks like the entire world did not put in their security docket a pandemic.
Yes, they didn't.
If you look at America, look at Europe, look at United Kingdom, look at Japan, look at China itself. It was taken by shocker. I think you raised a very big question, which is another full debate. Look at Tanzania. I think Miriam doesn't want even to hear the word Tanzania. But because Tanzania has made everybody get annoyed about COVID-19. Coming to Miriam, before I come to Wesonga, the values of COVID, the obstacles that COVID-19 has brought to security agencies. Retired Major Bijiwe has mentioned, soldiers have been overworked, police overworked, 85 to 90% stretched, overstretched. What do you think has come down to? What will this come down to? To overstretching policemen? You see a number of murders increase, some violence in some countries. People are committing suicide, stressful families. Look at that, round it up for us.
Yes, I'll just try my best, but being that we have a security expert today in the house, I think I'll just beat of that, and then I'll direct perhaps a question towards that, Major General there, retired Bijiwe. But just to try to answer your question, Doctor, as our guest there has mentioned there earlier about the challenges that the COVID-19 has brought upon us, not just Kenya or Africa, but indeed globally, and these are things that the world had not prepared for. And while he was saying there, he went and checked and did his research. And so in the national planning of our security in the country as Kenya, we did not mention a place where, and now the national security of Kenya will be having to deal with a pandemic because nobody was prepared in this regard. So COVID-19 has brought with it some challenges that are new to us. And now the governments, especially the government of Kenya, have to devise ways in which to deal with these new challenges being brought about because now it is no longer, a threat to our borders, which is still there. And I think because of the overwhelmed situation we have with our forces, and now some elements are taking advantage, and we've seen with that in the borders to try to take advantage of this moment and cause as much harm as possible. So that is just one of the things that we see trying to happen. And you mentioned Somalia I think yesterday, somebody there was murdered, and we've seen those attacks going on even across Africa with Boko Haram intensifying its activities in parts of Western Africa, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali, Niger. We've seen a lot of activities there and a lot of attacks from that area. So we've seen that. And so because of the intense pressure right now the security forces have across the globe, because all the attention there is put forth towards the challenge of COVID-19, and we've seen here in Africa, it has forced even the army to go out in the streets to ensure that people stay in the house. A lot of the population here does not understand that the reason why you need to social distance, the reason why you need to, just stay away in your place if you don't have to be out there, is to protect yourself. So it has forced the security agents to go out there to force Kenyans to protect themselves, because some of us do not realize that we are responsible and have a responsibility to take. So in that regard, a security officer who's supposed to be somewhere else doing other things is now forced to come in and see if you're wearing your mask or you're staying indoor. And with that, there is a security lapse. And so we see some elements taking over and trying to take advantage of this and try to cause harm to the citizens. Of course, we've not seen a lot of cases here in terms of number of militant activities, but we've seen the northern part of the country, and also in countries like Somalia, that has been very rampant.
Thank you very much, Miriam. You've raised cardinal points there of our security agencies who are not supervising people to wear masks, who are not supervising people not to cross certain areas. We brought them back. Therefore, it has an effect on security globally, or nationally, regionally, and globally, because aeroplanes are not moving at the moment. But that doesn't mean human beings don't move.
Yes.
In fact, those who have been looking for movement, it looks like this is the time to move. There are people who have been looking to die in the Mediterranean Sea, crossing over to Europe. I beg, this is the time, Mr. Bijiwe will tell us, this is the moment they are making their kill, because security agencies are somewhere else. People have been brought on the streets to combat, to make sure that people don't break the curfew. And then you are doing that. During that time, you have to go back and sleep. So people pass through your country and reach Mediterranean Sea. But let me bring in Wesonga from an investigative point of view.
Yes, I think I agree quite strongly with the sentiments that have been put across by both Miriam and Mr. Mbijiwe. And perhaps this is the time...
Major Mbijiwe.
Major Mbijiwe, yeah, sure. So I believe this is the time when our security forces are somehow overwhelmed, because we believe this is a double responsibility. They have to check on Kenyans to ensure that they adhere to the laws of the curfew, as well as also offer security against the terrorist groups. So really it's a double responsibility on their part. And also another part that we really have to look at is of course, the sensational reporting about the COVID-19, which goes hand in hand with the terrorism. Of course, the terrorists will want to take these as a smoking gun to seek to weaponize the virus, and could use it in terrorist attack. We've seen scenarios in Somalia where a terrorist wanted to, who was infected with the COVID-19, wanted to infect more people using by getting in contact with them. So this is really an issue that really need to be looked from the security perspective of how the terrorists can use this virus as a weapon also.
And my panel, Japan was to host Olympics. We are looking at, you might not see the damage, but the damage is going to come sink by the time we leave the studios. Japan was to host Olympics. Mm-hmm. How many jobs have we lost? First in Kenya, Bijiwe, we've lost our runners by now would be practicing. We would be preparing Kipchoge. We would be preparing. Am I wrong?
It would have happened. It was supposed to, yes, supposed to happen in April.
Let me bring all these ideas out. Japan, sports, Olympics, zero. Tourism, no plane is flying. Hotels in Mombasa. Where are these workers going? They are going to become thieves to rob our homes. We've lost. It's a security effect of COVID-19. Let's go to other areas. All these hotel managers, where are they going? What type of money are they using? They are eating the money that was there. It is also increased corruption, which affects the national, security situation. A country without money can be a very dangerous country, like Somalia. A country where it has brought in lots of things. I want you to look at Major Bijiwe and the panel. Look at it from that point of view. Governments are making unnecessary, or they are making very serious concessions. For example, in Uganda, the president has said the National Social Security Fund should be utilized for workers. What do you think? Workers who have been collecting their money, because of COVID-19, they have said, cut it, bring it to the central box. Not simple money. It's like the one Atwoli is defending in Nairobi. Mm-hmm. If you collect that of Atwoli and bring it to the night,
we will have a problem, yes.
Workers are going to have a problem. Mm-hmm. Let's discuss from Japan, from where, from tourism, no tourism arriving in our country. What is happening to these hotels? If it goes on for 1 year, Serena Hotel will have cobwebs. Nobody is sleeping there. Mr. Bijiwe used to go there. I used to meet you around it.
That's our joint.
You are no longer there. So, hasn't it caused, before we come to our own damage? For example, we are damaged. Some of us, we are seated in one place and our legs are growing big like this because we used to fly. It has become an insecurity because you are not flying to go so that you give Miriam space. What is the product? You beat your wife because you have missed another engagement somewhere. You know, some of us used to take our pressure from here, from Nairobi, and take it to London. When you see the Queen's picture, you laugh. But now the pressure is within the house. The children are back home. I want us to analyze from those points. What are you going to do to the children? You don't know, you don't have extra money now to collect to return them. If you are an employer or an employee, don't you steal some money?
Yes, and just maybe to pick on that, Doctor. Yes.
Miriam, hold, let our guest tell us more about this. I've opened the Pandora box. So.
Yes, it's a Pandora's box. It's a Pandora's box, and I'm going to just grab one or two thoughts from the box. Then maybe Wetsonga and my sister there will grab the other part of it. The Olympics, the last Olympics that was in Beijing, made $3.6 billion. The revenue from that Olympics was that was in 2008. They collected 3.6 billion. Now, the one in Japan has just been cancelled. I pray that we do not get to the point of Qatar 2022. I hope by 2022 we'll have fixed this problem, because nobody wants to stop FIFA 2022. Look at football in Europe, for example. It's a huge revenue earner. It is so serious now that Barcelona club, the club of Lionel Messi. I love Lionel Messi.
My club also.
Yeah. Barcelona has said it will sell all their players except Lionel Messi. They told all the world clubs, pick anyone you want from this club, including the guy who bites people's ears from, is it Uruguay? What is that guy? He loves to bite ears. They said, buy all these players except Lionel Messi. Clubs are struggling. You see, the US just resumed their sporting. They said, we can do empty stadiums, but we need to resume sporting. They have resumed the NASCAR. They had the NASCAR this last weekend. In other words, the sporting world, for example, has been hugely affected. And you know, sporting world, other than releasing pressure from people, it's a huge revenue earner. In the US, this COVID-19 cut short the NFA, National Football Association matches. Also, the same happened with the basketball, NBA. Most of these sports work. Liverpool was going to win. By the way, have they declared Liverpool the winners of EPL? I hope they do, because this is they said the day someone joked that the day Liverpool wins, the world will stop, and literally the world has stopped. I hope they go ahead and give this our Egyptian player Mohamed Farah the cup.
Liverpool, yes.
Yeah, my daughter is a Liverpool fan, so occasionally I cheer Liverpool, but I'm a Chelsea fan.
Oh, no.
So I hope you, Dr. Matsanga, and my daughter go ahead and receive the EPL. So this is the effect. This is the effect of COVID-19 across the globe, especially on sporting activities. And by the way, I hope you know that in our country, Kenya, like you mentioned, like you aptly mentioned, we depend our runners depend on these world events for their income. Yeah. And so suddenly we have Kenyans whose events that were scheduled. Some were scheduled for indoor events, outdoor events, world marathons, Boston Marathon, Berlin Marathon, London Marathon. All these events have had to be cancelled because now there is no more certainty about the safety and the well-being of the people. Dr. Matsanga, COVID-19 is a serious issue around the world.
Thank you very much.
Yes, even as we wait for that connection there to be back. Doctor, we had a bit of a hang there. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
All right, very well. So just adding on what a retired major there, Bijiwe, has just said, of course, COVID-19 has affected a lot of sectors across the globe, and hospitality has been one of the most hit because hospitality converges a lot of other industries around it. We see the hotels, we see tourism, we see the flights. They form part of, a huge part of the hospitality industry. The cancellation of the bookings of the hotels that have been made this time, especially during Easter time, we see a lot of travels across the world, and that did not happen. And also a major there just mentioned the Qatar, and is just crossing his fingers that the Qatar World Cup next year does not get affected, because I was just watching another documentary a couple of months ago, how Qatar has invested in this World Cup. They've gone ahead to build even 3-star hotels, because Qatar does not have cheap hotels. So they were trying to build 3-star hotels to accommodate a lot of fans from across the world. And the government has pumped in a lot of money to ensure that the preparations and that will culminate to the World Cup there become very successful. So what if the COVID situation continues and that perhaps does not happen, and we're praying it does not get to there. But now that is also a threat to the preparations that have been going there in Qatar. And also, of course, through the cancellation of all these things, a lot of hotels here in Nairobi have been closed down that were catering a lot to the tourists outside of the country. We've seen even the national parks right now. A lot of children visit there for learning purposes, and also just for fun, for understanding Kenya, because the government of Kenya has been in the forefront to try to encourage local tourism. We see right now the parks here in Nairobi. We have the national park in the city. It's been empty, and that is where the park gets its revenue, so that it can able to run smoothly. And now even the animals, they are threatened, because how are they going to be taken care of if the people who are taking care of them might not be able to be paid because there's no revenue coming in? So this really has affected so many aspects of people's lives, and a lot of it has resulted to joblessness, has resulted to situations where people do not know how to deal now with life, and has brought about challenges that really have become a security threat, not just nationally but also internationally, even as we will continue talking and looking at other factors also, and other security challenges that have risen, especially in this region of East Africa.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Daniel.
Yes,
yes, just hold the fire. You have heard what retired Major Bijiwe has told us, what Miriam has said.
Absolutely.
In Nairobi, back 0. Football, 0. These things generated stability. They generated stability in the world. If more people are watching football, they might sleep hungry, but they want their team to win. Major Bijiwe has said he has a daughter who does not miss watching my team, Liverpool, which I've watched for 43 years as a fan. Now, if you miss, what do you do? If you go back to the house, sit down, what do? You start picking a quarrel with things that you never used to see, whether you had gone to Sagre, to kanyaga nyama na chupa mbili, you come back when you are tired. Now there is no Sagre. Hakuna kukanyaga nyama.
Chupa mbili ama sausage mbili?
Sausage mbili.
Sausage moja, chupa mbili.
Nawe Kagwe.
Kenyans have been doing sausages.
I wanted Mutake Kagwe to see this show so that he can improve on his delivery services on COVID-19. Wesonga, what do you think you can add on what the two have said?
Yes, I think they have given it a wide spectrum, and of course, the problem of unemployment is not only local but also globally. You look at the statistics; the deluge of unemployment in 5 weeks is slightly over 26 million. That is something to worry about globally. And you saw in America, as you just said, it's a security matter, because when America started recording high numbers, one thing that was noticed that people were really going en masse in these shops, particular shops that sell firearms, to buy guns. And that tells you that they are very worried about their security. In case things get out of hand, we will have people looting business premises, people getting into other people's homes. So it's really a worrying trend. And coming back to Kenya, where more than 60% of people depend on an informal sector, you find that a lot of people are not working now in the construction industry. A lot of hotels are not open. A lot of clubs where majority of these people work and get paid on a day-to-day basis they're not open. So a majority of them don't have a stable source of income. And this is something that could easily prompt them to venture into criminal activities. And the other day I was talking to a certain young man who resides in Eastlands, and he was telling me, look at this scenario. I've stayed in my house, let's say, for 2-3 days without food. From my personality, I'm not a criminal. I'm not someone who does shady deals to earn a living. But here I'm confronted by a situation where I don't have food in my house. And if I'm going to stay 2 or more, 3 days or more days in this house without food, I'm going to die. But on the other hand, if I go out there and maybe steal from someone, there's chances that I'm going to survive maybe for an extra day. So as far as I will not agree to his sentiments, to his line of thought, but he had a point, perhaps because if they continue sitting at home without any job or without any stable source of daily bread, then perhaps this could prompt so many young people, unemployed young people, and the rest of the society into these criminal activities. So I agree, these are very matter of security concern during this pandemic.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's shift gear to effects resultant linked to COVID-19. On 4th of May, an Ethiopian anti-aircraft gunner, an unknown people, gunned down our Kenyan plane. It was carrying COVID-19 deliveries to Somalis. And then some people, we don't know who they are up to now. The government of Somalia has not explained to us who they are. Who are these who gunned down our plane? Who arrived from where? They were not in the AMISOM. They are not Ethiopian troops. Because of COVID-19 confusion, our plane and 6 people died. Do you think if this trend of COVID-19 goes on, question to you, Major Retired Bijiwe, that's your field of aircraft and gunning down. You always do the gunning down and the aircraft landing. Do you think if this goes on, there will be more planes to be gunned down in Somalia and the people will shun away from help the Somalis who wanted help because you fear going there? Isn't it a threat, a global threat?
Dr. Matanga, let me first say that the issue of the gunning down of that aircraft was one of the most mischievous and undercutting, incidences that Ethiopian military has ever engaged in against our country. That was my trade, by the way. When I was in the military, my work was to operate with what we used to call SAMs, surface-to-air missiles. But before you deploy a surface-to-air missile to bring down an enemy aircraft, you had to use a radar system. So we cooperated with our colleagues who ran the radar system, and they would, a radar system picks the plane, and actually a radar operator is able to speak to the pilot himself. He has a bypass code and a bypass frequency that reaches to the aircraft, and you can challenge the pilot to identify themselves. This is a military protocol. It is beyond the civilian air surveillance protocols. And these gunners would actually reach the pilot before they brought down the pilot. By the way, personally, my analysis is that was a trade war. I think someone paid somebody to bring down that aircraft so they could kill someone's medical equipment business. Because even in the worst of moments when we had Al-Shabaab attacks and the war on terror was raging, we never had a single aircraft brought down in Somalia. Even when Al-Shabaab itself was surrounding Kisimayu airport or Mogadishu, when they were in Mogadishu, you never heard of one aircraft that Al-Shabaab brought down, leave alone a conventional, disciplined, trained military of a nation. So I must say that Ethiopia's intention in this is bigger than just saying, oh, we saw them flying so low and above the military base and we thought they were doing a suicide mission. I think there is more that catches the eye than what we know. And I challenge our intelligence. And now I even hear that when Kenyan investigators, aviation investigators, were invited by the government of Farmajo to go and cooperate with their colleagues from Somalia to investigate what happened, Ethiopia said no. Who is this Ethiopia? Who has a hand inside Ethiopia and a hand inside Somalia? Are they the new colonial masters we have in Somalia or something? And so COVID-19 also exposes Ethiopia to what we have always known. The region where they brought this aircraft down is supposed to be, yes, an Ethiopian sector operation area, but they had every right and responsibility to require to know which aircraft this was before they brought it down. So I think Ethiopia has many questions to answer, and I hope Kenya plays a little stronger and tougher. Sometimes I wish our president is a little tougher than he is, and because we need to hold Ethiopia accountable to this.
Well, I'm happy.
Let me come in here and ask one question before Miriam comes in.
Yes.
Do we have a Minister of Foreign Affairs these days?
In Kenya?
Yes.
If I answer you, you'll be very offended. So let me say pass.
No, we are talking to Kenyans here. We are not seeing.
Yes, we do.
We are not seeing a very good, serious output. I am honest.
But since they moved,
Foreign Affairs of this country seem to have been clouded into clouds of amnesia.
But since they moved Monica Juma from that docket, we have the problem we have right now. And actually, before that was our most studied performing, remarkable minister, Amina Mohammed. Then after Amina came Monica Juma. Those two performed so well. Then they brought one that I hear a lot of rumors online. I don't want to say what I hear online. No,
let's not say the rumors. Let's only ask a cardinal question.
So, Doctor,
is it there? Is the ministry? Because I don't see. Look. Me, I've studied international relations. You cannot challenge me. We can write an exam together with Professor P.S. Macharia. He can't defeat me. But, we can get equal marks. But there are things that are sickening me. And since you are here on this program, let me talk about it. I am sick.
Speak it,
I'm
sir.
sick about it. Look at this. Why do you waste your time on ICJ? It's not a criminal court. Tell them we are not coming. Tell them, why should Somalia threaten us to take us? Let's go. Go and do what? Go and do what? If ICJ gives 1 meter of the islands of the docket of Kenya under Article 40, Chapter 40, Chapter 7 of Article 39, the world war will explode. Why do you waste time with lumpens like Eguteris? He has not studied much, very little. Why do you waste time? You have warned him. Why doesn't Kenya play a tough game? Isn't it? Why doesn't it play a tough game, Miriam, Daniel? We are playing. These boys don't have even a toilet. They are playing with us. This is a country in this region which has determined the destiny of all countries here. Show me one rebel leader who never grew up in Kenya. Show me. Show me that Museveni never used Kenya as a base. Show me that Kagame never used Kenya as a base. Show me that the Somali people who there, that is Farimajo has no house in South Sea. Show me that the other Sharif, Ahmed Sharif, his family did not benefit from our school. Show me. Muende, endelea, tuseme. Show me that Riaka Machar does not have a house. Show me that Salva Kiir has no house in Kenya. Yes. Why is Kenya playing fiddle? What is this? Today I brought it out. My chest open up.
Let me say, Dr. Matsanga, let me pick it from you, and I can feel you. Let me say that our leaders have played second fiddle to these regional, sometimes warlords turned leaders. We have played so softly with him. Right now, the anger Kenyans feel that our aircraft was brought down and the lives of almost 10 members of the crew, pilots, young men of Somali origin and other origins in Kenya were killed in that single, act of aggression by Ethiopian forces. But we do not hear even the ambassador record. I didn't even hear the ambassador was called by the minister to explain. We just let it go. We just, Kenya has always played, and I feel one of the challenges, Dr. Matanga, is because most of our political leaders, senior political leaders, have had no military background whatsoever. Most of our political leaders have not even gone through a military. The people you mentioned, Museveni, who lived in Kenya, is a military guy. Kagame, who lived in Kenya, is a military guy. Riek Machar is a military guy. Salva Kiir is a military guy. The gentleman you mentioned, Sheikh Sharif, is the leader. He first led the Islamic courts. He's a military guy. Ethiopia itself, all these leaders have had an affiliation with the military. There's an ideology, a mentality, a doctrine that a leader that has gone through a military experience expresses when they lead. That is why our national intelligence has not been extremely firm on Ethiopians and other such leaders in the region. That's why they seem to make Kenya their playing ground at the expense of our foreign policy and respect in the region. And I think we need leaders who can stamp their feet on the ground and tell them off, especially Ethiopia in this one. They need to pay that aircraft.
And just to add on what, yes, just a question I have there for retired Major Mbijiwe, because the matter of Ethiopia, and I think we talked about it here very much, because we know from the past, Somalia has been very uncomfortable with the AMISOM, team that comprises of Kenya, Uganda and Burundi. These three countries, Somalia has been very, clear that he wants our KDF and the rest, Burundi and Uganda, out of Somalia, and Somalia has suggested that it wants Ethiopia and Eritrea particularly to take over these areas. So this act that we saw there by Ethiopia gunning down the Kenyan, aeroplane from Kenya, is it to scare away or just to send a message to the AMISOM, who are troops who are there? Over 22,000 of troops are there trying to help the government of Somalia stabilize the country. And there has been reports, a retired major, that has indicated the Somali government has been working in cahoots with Al-Shabaab to defeat the efforts of KDF and Ugandan army, the AMISOM troop, especially because they want these people to leave so that they can be left and do whatever it is that they want to do in that country. So was this a way of sending a message? And how can Somalia now tell us that a foreign country will come in and as a foreign army, because it is Ethiopian troops who did that, and do that without the knowledge of Somali government? And we've seen Somali government, of course, had a conversation with President Uhuru Kenyatta and said they will investigate. And now you mention that Ethiopia is very uncomfortable with the Kenyan team joining part of the investigation. So what kinds of game is being played here? And was this a message to the KDF and the Ugandan army and the Burundian army, who Somalia has really expressed their disinterest in continuing having these armies there as part of the AMISOM?
Those are very pertinent questions you've asked, and you're asking questions like you are an investigator yourself. maybe it's time you drop your CV to the investigators. They might have a proper candidates in you, my friend. Those are very crucial questions. However, quick one. I think Ethiopia wants to be the hegemony in the region. They have felt their prominence and superpower mentality has been infringed on by KDF's prominence in the region. I think KDF has had a very remarkable performance. Fewer casualties, incredible performance. The capture of Kisimayo went into military history in Africa and the world. The first amphibious landing by a military force in Africa. I seem to be running out of battery. If the camera can focus somewhere, let me connect power to my source. I can't continue the question. So
All right. All right. Just go on. Yes.
Talking.
Yes.
Let me connect my battery.
All right.
As we continue talking, we want to make it categorically clear. I think the points Miriam raised are very cardinal. I want to Wesonga briefly to comment. Then I give chance to
as we wait for
another stage of
Yes.
COVID-19. Miriam raised very cardinal questions. What's your comment on that?
Yes, first of all, I think whichever mischievous intention that Ethiopia might be having towards the Kenyan Defense Forces or the Republic itself really need to be approached with a lot of seriousness. In the military, I've never been in a military background, but I know one aspect of war is that you never recite poems to he who comes to you with an arrow. So it really such actions of provocation from the Ethiopian side need really to be handled with a lot of seriousness and agency that it deserves. It doesn't pay us any good just sitting there in laxity by our Ministry of Foreign Affairs as we continue losing lives of our citizens in Somalia, like it happened. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs really need to step up. I believe we are very strong power in the Eastern African region, and to prove our worth, really, they say that for the powerful, you really have to prove it through your strong arm. So just being hit by our neighbors and really having nothing to do about it is really miserable from those who are expected to act. Yeah.
Yes. And Doctor, just to add on,
Miriam, let me bring this debate.
Yes.
Again. We've seen, and we are on a higher note. We have actually hitting the point there. We are finding the root causes where our weaknesses are. We must accept this weakness. The national intelligence system does not operate beyond the foreign policy. Mm-hmm. It operates within the foreign policy of a country. And that one, due to the reference to the intelligence, it can't go and do things that the Foreign Affairs Ministry has not said they can do. The national intelligence system stays within the ambit of a foreign policy. Mm-hmm. If we want to go and kill Osama bin Laden, the Pentagon will bring its proposal. And Pompeo, that heavy guy, like who is twice bigger than Matana, will start moving around the world to say we are coming to strike. Quietly, Kenya, we shall be passing and we need fuel. The national intelligence systems don't go and do their own things. So we can't blame the national intelligence system.
Yes.
We blame the policymakers of who are the foreign affairs. For example, if you look at the language that the Somalis use in writing their statements, and the language Kenya uses, yes. The Somalis went to Bela University again. No. They answer one page, dangerous. we answer pages with nothing. I must be very honest, there's something wrong that those who are watching this program today must change under COVID-19. If things go the way they are going, on 13th of March, Moyale town was gripped by Ethiopian troops, crossed over into Kenya, attacked some of our people, killed some people, and went back. On 14th of April,
4th
of April, another incursion by Ethiopian gunmen into this country.
And they say to be unhappy with the closure of the Kenyan border due to the COVID-19, yes.
On 12th of February, Moyale Rail bus headed to Nairobi from Mandera was attacked. Look, these acts under COVID-19 amnesia could be a rehearsal for the future Ethiopian invasion and taking part of our territory of Kenya. Ethiopia is in bed with Somalia and Eritrea.
Yeah.
Ethiopia has got an NGO president, prime minister, NGO. You people don't speak the truth. What will they do? Will he ever stop me from going to AU? No. What right has he got? I'm not going there to do anything wrong. I have a life visa to enter Ethiopia. Nobody can revoke it. So he will not stop me. I have to tell him the truth. We have got an NGO prime minister in Ethiopia. We have got my sister who was here in the UN. She only works for agencies, who is the president. We have now an NGO president in Mogadishu who was only working for NGO Texas, that oil company in America is called what?
Soma.
Not Soma. The American oil company which always grabs the oil everywhere.
Which was working with Soma, I think.
Yes, they're working together.
They still have a relation, yes.
A very good relationship.
Yeah.
We have got the prime minister, a small boy, kadogo kabisa, small, and threatening Kenya, a big country. A small boy, you know, it doesn't even weigh my hands like this. That prime minister called Harry something. Look at this type of people. These are the people threatening a giant of East Africa with statements, writing back that if you don't go to ICJ is not a criminal court. You go and finish the case. And then when the case comes, let's see how you come to occupy the island. Tunataka Kenya ikuwe namna hivyo jameni, si ndio? We want a Kenya that can be tough.
But yeah.
Not lukewarm. So for me, my problem here is the lukewarm approach and the COVID-19.
Yeah.
That guy there. Have you seen him? That's the boy giving us headache. Yet he ate our food here. He was in Nairobi hammering food.
Is it a doctor?
This one here,
yes.
He has got even 2 houses, 3 houses in Nairobi. That Kasimoro man, he's molesting Kenya every day and night. He knows me, I hate him. Because if he steps in London in months to come, that corona will be over.
Yes.
Let's see how he'll step in London.
And doctor,
that's the guy. We need a tough foreign policy. Miriam, you have been itching to say something. Go on.
Yeah, and I think you both I think took issues with the matter in the way the government perhaps is dealing with certain aggression that is now very clearly coming from. We've seen that from Ethiopia and also to some extent there Somalia. And you say you've called it lukewarm, and also the retired major there also brought issues with that, and is saying Kenya needs to be very decisive in terms of dealing with this matter. I don't know if Kenya really. I wouldn't say Kenya is really playing a second fiddle, but I think it is the history of Kenya as an oasis of peace, and we've seen Kenya taking on the front, seat when it comes to the peace talks around this region. And Kenya has been known to be taking a diplomatic, approach in certain matters. So perhaps it is the nature of our history in terms of how we've been dealing with matters and how we've been very pivotal in terms of finding peace in this region. We've had very troubled neighbors, and Kenya has been in the front of finding peace. So it is our diplomatic nature that is perhaps now becoming our disadvantage. And also we've been an oasis of peace. Kenya has not been known to be very aggressive in that regard. So perhaps should we remove this tag, because perhaps our neighbors might be seeing we're very polite, so maybe
let me interject right there.
Yes.
Around the year 99 or 2000, 99, 2000, there was an incident that happened at our border with Somalia. Some militias, that time there was no Al-Shabaab, some militias, tribal militias crossed the border into Kenya and attacked one of our military frontline bases at the border. And they took our weapons, they ransacked the military outpost, and went back to Somalia with the weapons. The same island of peace, Kenya, that was led by the most renowned peace ambassador, His Excellency, rest in peace, Daniel Arap Moi. By noon, in the morning when the news broke, I was in the Air Force that time. President Moi around 9 o'clock in the morning, gave an ultimatum. He said, I order all the elders and leaders of that region that know what happened to my weapons to return my weapons by noon of tomorrow, the next day. He said, if by noon tomorrow, that's the next day, I don't have my weapons, then you are going to suffer the consequences of your choice. As soon as the president finished that, I was at Moi Air Base, that was my station. We saw soldiers come from Langata Barracks, that is Kenya Rifles, 7 Kenya Rifles, and they boarded our buffalo planes. We transported them to Wajir, and in Wajir, they took ground transport to the border. Then our fighter jets, the F-5s, made maneuvers in the air inside Somalia and back again into our forward operation base in Wajir. That was way before the 12 o'clock noon deadline came. And the message the president was sending was, I'm a man of peace, my country is an island of peace, but you will not put your damn fingers into my nose and eyes. Look, we cannot say we are a regional force that everyone wants to, and I'm avoiding using bad words here. We cannot be a regional force that everyone thinks. If President Magufuli gets angry with Kenya, he orders. Did you hear is it the minister or who was that border leader in Tanzania yesterday? Who said he said we allow all drivers from Malawi, from Rwanda, from Burundi to drive through Tanzania, but not Kenyan drivers. Mm-hmm. I swear they are lucky I'm not the president, because the next day every Tanzanian in Kenya would be packing and going back to Tanzania. You don't let people insult an hegemony to that extent. We are not a small player in this region. We are the hegemony of this region. We are the superpower of this region. We must... Now, let me go back to what I said before I got interrupted by battery in my laptop. When Ethiopia brought down our aircraft, we should have applied the principle Russia employed on Turkey when Turkey brought down a fighter jet that was flying at the border of Turkey and Syria. The Turkish air defense systems brought down that aircraft. It's an image that is even available on YouTube. When they did that, President Putin gave Turkey an ultimatum. He canceled all the flights to Turkey from Russia. He canceled all the contract, the business engagement with Turkey. I'm telling you from now, this is what is not in the public domain. Turkey had to pay that fighter jet. They paid it. Today we should be talking about Ethiopia paying that aircraft that they brought down and paying the families that lost their loved ones. Why are we playing nice with these people that think Kenya is a small boy? We are not a small boy. Somalia thinks we are a small boy. They want to take our border section in the maritime dispute. What kind of disrespect can this be? And let me tell you, maybe this generation of leaders don't care. I am going to be part of the next generation of leaders in this country. This region must respect this country. If they don't respect us, we will force them to respect us. We can't take that kind of nonsense.
Okay, let's now cool down and let's bring it.
You fired us up. How do you tell us to cool down, Doctor?
That's what the conversation should be. It is not going to be Matanga alone. No. Now we want divergent views. Like
Wetonga, touch your mic. I think your mic is disconnected.
Yes. We can't hear you, Wetonga. Remove the button.
Yeah, there's a button.
Yeah, I'm good now. Yeah, so maybe just to...
Don't take it off.
Yeah.
So we have fired out. We have fired out. Now we want to narrow down to the points of effects of COVID-19. We want you to start by summarizing for us. We have Kenyans stranded in London. We have Ugandans stranded in London. Yesterday, Museveni told them to hell. Stay where you are. Don't try to bring anything here. And you see, this is a global problem now. That it is a global insecurity. You find yourself, you went for a flight to buy your wife some clothes from Marks and Spencer. You know, there are some men from this region who love their families and wives. Especially Miriam knows the regions which love. He can fly to London to buy the madam things they want in the Marks and Spencer.
I don't know these people, Doctor. I really don't know these people.
A business class ticket. So there are about 4 friends of mine who have been caught up in London.
And they went shopping.
Yeah.
Shame on them. They should have gone to shop at Sarit Center.
Yeah. Shame on them.
See the colonial mentality our people have. What pride do you have wearing Gucci on your chest and wearing, what are those brands?
It's Gucci.
My friend, let's go to EPZ and
yes, let's build our own economy.
And maybe...
Those people have brought insecurity. The countries, Museveni yesterday, President Museveni said, don't even try to come here because don't bring a corona here. So, Museveni has been point blank. The ones in Kenya, the foreign minister first said it will bring them, it will not bring them. Finally, they came. When they arrived here, the first thing is to break that woman, beat up that woman in the cooperative college. Is this not a global threat that we have so many of our African people stranded in European countries who cannot come back? Isn't it a problem?
And
if
why?
They come back, some countries like Somalia had one ventilator which Mr. Farimajo stole and hid in his house. You remember? The president stole one, Farimajo stole one ventilator to keep it in Villa, Somalia. The journalist wrote and said, but Mr. President, why do you steal the only ventilator in the country? America ran in to give them ventilators. That journalist was beaten. He's my friend. He was badly beaten. His ribs, 6 of them are broken. Now, let me tell you, if we have so many Africans dotted all over Europe, including Wesonga's friend, who is stuck in Sicily, Don't you think these guys are going to either be killed or create insecurity? Some of them could become terrorists roaming those streets of Europe, America, and some places, because there is no movement. COVID-19, we don't know when it will end. It looks like we have more lockups, extensions coming on the way. President Kenyatta on Saturday talked, but you could read it between the lines that if we don't behave, more lockups will come. What is your view?
Yeah, and let me just pick it up there. Those people, the Africans who have been caught in this situation, unfortunate situation, and they're stuck there in Europe. First of all, yeah, keep staying there until all is safe, because right now you want to come to do what? The facilities across Africa right now are very overwhelmed. So it is just a common sense right now. Just stay there. First of all, there are no flights coming in and out of a lot of countries in Africa and across the globe. So they're choosing the wrong time to try to come home. And we understand a lot of them perhaps, maybe they were students, maybe different reasons why they're there. But this is not the right time trying to find your way home here. And Doctor, speaking of Somalia there, and yesterday I was watching a news item that really disturbed me. The Somali government is carrying out COVID-19 tests secretly in Isli to its citizens who are in the country without legal papers because it wants to take them back to Somalia. And they're doing this without the knowledge of the Kenyan government. And so the Kenyan government, I think yesterday announced Somalia, in Isli only one case was recorded. But according to LAPSET, which according to not LAPSET, but another, that is carrying out this test, they recorded about 13 Somalis cases from Isli, and these numbers are not given to the Kenyan government. So that really disturbed me. I don't know what you make of this.
Just ask Mejiwe maybe is in those fields.
Somali government, yeah.
Let me say I was very appalled.
You watched it? Yes.
Yeah, this is the same insult and disrespect I'm saying our neighbors seem to throw on us.
Boss Bejiwe, so yes. I was right to say in foreign affairs there's a problem. How can Somalia come to do tests here?
It is Lee that is under lockdown without the knowledge of the government of Kenya.
And you don't hear a summon of their ambassador to the foreign minister's office this morning to explain. Because no sooner was the news broken than a letter should have been dropped at the embassy requiring the ambassador to show up at the foreign ministry office to explain. We do not have, the minister at the foreign affairs is, I think, on an autopilot or sleeping on the job. And maybe, and sincerely speaking,
is there a minister?
Sincerely speaking,
these days I see the PS only speaking.
Yeah, this cabinet secretary came from defense, and at defense, she didn't have to work. At defense, the chief of defense forces and the service commanders, they work. Maybe our work was just to come and take tea in the office. Now, no, I think there's a problem. Maybe this reorganization of government that we hear is coming, maybe they'll change that minister. We have a complete embarrassment there.
Why don't you speak direct?
He just did.
I just did.
No.
Or you want me to talk about the what they watch in the office?
Kamijiwe, you are a Kenyan. And I want to teach people to speak direct. You tell President Uhuru Kenyatta, who are watching this clip, please, we have a problem in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Somalia is dancing on our heads. Our heads have become airfields for them to land on. And I don't want to use another word which could mean literally like a man from Meru or a man from Bugisu. There's a word I could have used, which could make you laugh until you go home. This is very, very bad. These guys are playing on us. How can they come and do a test in Isli without telling?
They don't even give it. They don't even submit it to the Ministry of
They
Health,
don't,
which
to the
is
Kenyan
the
government,
which is the
yes.
which is
I
the
think-
frontline ministry involved. Right now, the ambassador should have been summoned at the Foreign Affairs. So Dr. Matanga, okay, since you are daring us to speak the truth, I want first of all you to know that Kenyans speak the truth, and this is the truth, that we need a change at the Foreign Affairs Ministry. The CS, the cabinet secretary, is sleeping on the job. Maybe she needs another general to work with or something, but she is completely incompetent, and that's not the docket. That she should be sent back to defense, where there's a new defense chief who will work for her while she takes coffee and watches stuff online.
Welcome. So it has become hot.
It is.
Yes.
I am.
Hotter.
Well, so you have a
Yes.
point.
I think the Minister for Defense, CS Somamo, is on field.
No,
field
She's not on defense anymore.
Foreign affairs.
Foreign
Foreign
affairs.
affairs. Yes. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think she's on a field day.
Oh, you wanted
and,
to go
she
back
need-
there?
She needs to smell the coffee and raise up to the occasion. Otherwise, I tend to hold the same views as a Major Retired Mbijiwe. If she does not show any goodwill to be equal to the day on her duties, then there's no other thing we can do other than her being shown the door. Let her give space for a more competent person to take up the mantle and really defend our sovereignty as a country.
But now also, Doctor, like when I was watching that news item, it brought up a lot of, and I was preparing to come and do this show today because I knew we were going to look at the insecurity that has been brought about by COVID-19 in this country. So if Somalia government was secretly, testing the citizens of Somalia who are in this country illegally, so how many people could it be aiding to even come to this country illegal? I mean,
how did they illegally come here?
Yes. And why are they doing it on the down low? How can we trust?
Who are these in Italy who are being tested quietly? Could they be the terrorists that we have been looking for?
Question. That's a good question, Dr. Matanga.
Raises a lot of yes.
Who have been killing Kenyans? So if they have been found here, we want to know who they are. If the report, I don't know where it came from, which television station.
I was
it
was in all major television stations.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
And I think I watched it in the Citizen last night.
Yeah. Before we move to another hot potato, which is a very serious thing causing chaos as we stand now, which Mbijiwe and Miriam like most, that is Tanzania. Again, where is our East African Community Minister? Another sleeping man on job, called Aden, a man who made Dangote not to bring the money here. You remember? Kenyans forget so easily. You remember when that man was a minister of, when he was a minister of industry?
Yeah.
You remember Dangote complaining who asked him for a bribe?
And he took the factory to Ethiopia after that. He took the factory to Ethiopia after the Kenyan one failed.
After the Kenyan minister.
Yeah.
And I was in fact, I am now going to reveal to you that night when Dangote was in Intercontinental Hotel,
yes,
it is true that minister went there at around midnight.
Wow.
I saw him. I met him physically. And this is the man still in the cabinet of President Museveni, or President Uhuru Kenyatta. What is he doing there?
President Museveni.
This row between Kenya and Tanzania
yes,
should have been resolved diplomatically, silently.
Yeah, I agree.
Jermaine, don't say Matanga on the condemns.
But doctor, we really don't have a problem.
What is the other name? Aden who?
Mohammed.
Aden Mohammed.
Aden Mohammed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take him back to Barclays Bank.
Yeah.
But before he goes back to Barclays Bank, doctor.
Give that ministry to a politician, a very good politician, seasoned politician, who can integrate East Africa. Mr. President, that ministry, this is the language I want Bijue and you to speak. Mr. President, that ministry is dead. It is buried in Nyandeki Maigadi.
Maybe Wasonga wanted to interject something. Wasonga first.
Yes.
Let's leave him.
Yeah, I think that ministry of East African Community has been amongst the most dormant ministries. And whatever perhaps I wanted to say has already been brought forward by Dr. Matsanga. The president needs to do something. He needs to bring in someone with a high political experience and intuition to really be able to broker some good rapport with our neighbors in Tanzania. We wouldn't be in this situation if Mr. Aden Mohammed was doing his duties quite well, wherever he is. So he has been so incognito in his duties, and perhaps I believe maybe in the coming cabinet reshuffles, those are some of the dockets that will really be given so much limelight. They'll be really be illuminated to ensure that we fit there people who are up to the task in the coming cabinet.
Yes,
but also
to add on that, Dr.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just adding to that, I don't remember Kenya having a problem with
Our
Tanzania.
neighbors, Tanzania is. Sorry.
There's
The internet is sensitive.
You are our boss. You are our consultant.
Yes.
You be summarizing all this. Let Miriam make her contribution.
Yes. So what I was saying is, Doctor, thank you, is that I don't remember Kenya having a personal problem like that with Tanzania. And so the measure that President Uhuru Kenyatta took to ensure that our borders are safe, President Uhuru Kenyatta has a responsibility as the head of state of this Republic of Kenya to protect the people of Kenya and the lives of the people of Kenya. That is his first responsibility as the head of state of Kenya. So the measure he took to close the border between Kenya and Tanzania, Kenya and Ethiopia, Kenya and Somalia, it is not personal. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing to protect us. Now, on the other hand, Tanzania has not been responding to COVID-19 as the rest of the East African community or the rest of the African countries have been responding. So what I think Tanzania is trying to do is just to direct attention to other things instead of, the attention that the country has been receiving in terms of how it has been dealing with COVID-19. For example, the U.S. Embassy there even noted the huge number of burials that are taking place there in Tanzania. The hospitals there are overwhelmed. This is information that Tanzania does not want to get outside, so that the outside world could start talking about the situation there in Tanzania. It has refused to give the latest figures from that country. So this matter with Kenya, I think, is just a distraction because they have bigger fish to fry there. And now, it's not even passive-aggressive. It is aggressive in the manner in which I saw that official from Tanzania speaking, wacha Kenya wakae huko na corona zao. I mean, Kenya, we did not invent corona. I got offended.
Even the insult this official was adding was that they tested Kenyan drivers and found 19 Kenyan drivers to be coronavirus positive. What kind of an insult is that? Is it telling us that now Tanzania has better testing systems than Kenyan systems? They don't even have them. Oh, by the way, last night, there was news from South Sudan that the first vice president of South Sudan and his wife, Dr. Riek Machar, has tested positive of coronavirus. It was breaking news. You have all heard about it.
Yes.
What do we hear from Magufuli? He tells us, oh, my son was corona positive.
From Lemon.
We don't even know when.
Oh, doctor has another breaking news.
It should have been breaking news that time that the son of the president of Tanzania is COVID-19 positive. But he's hiding the information. That's exactly what is happening to every truth about COVID-19 in Tanzania. And by the way, I have advised our government that we close that border from east mpaka west, kutoka Lake Victoria mpaka Indian Ocean. Tuibane man-to-man military wajae hapo because Tanzanians are going to run into this country. This is going to be the only place they can run for treatment because their president is burying his head in the sand like the proverbial ostrich.
Yeah, actually, I tend to harbor the same sentiments. And actually, if you see the U.S. Embassy coming out with such a damning report, you know that there's more that meets the eye in Tanzania. And I think the leadership in Tanzania is under siege, and they seem overwhelmed. And that's why perhaps they are irritated with any move that the Kenyan government takes. You know, there was a lot of laxity from President Magufuli when it came to putting in place these measures to avoid the spread of the virus. And now, when they see now Kenyan quite doing well in managing these crises, and we cannot allow it to spill back into our borders, then I believe that is the cause of this agitation and a feeling of aggression that is coming from that end. It's a leadership under siege from their own people and the pandemic itself. So it's bound to be that.
I remind Magufuli that he's a democratically elected president, if he believes in democracy at all, which I doubt he does.
He does not.
On the one hand, he plays God. You know, he's like one guy here in Kenya who plays God on every line. Everywhere he turns, he plays God. God. And you make yourself an enemy of God. The day you play God. The day you play God, you make God your own enemy, and it is God who destroys you himself. So Magufuli on Sunday is in church playing God. On the other hand, is so rude. He's so mean to his citizens.
He just buried his sister, Major General, retired. He just buried who died from corona today. The sister died yesterday. Magufuli. Let doctor give you the breaking news. Doctor, please give us the information.
Magufuli's sister died. Now you touch about this man of the Bible. Let's give it. Very hot.
Dr. Magufuli is your
Dr.
friend.
Matsanga.
This man of the Bible, please leave it.
One thing I always tell people is that you remember when Jesus had been taken into the wilderness. To be tempted by the devil. You remember the devil himself quoted the Bible.
Yes.
Yeah, more better than the Messiah himself. So
on a light note, all the men of that man in Kenya quote the Bible. Even Moses Kuria is quoting the Bible recently. I can't believe Moses Kuria knows the Bible now.
Matthew,
it's a script they are rolling.
The points that you are raising of the Bible, serious reports are also watching the same group because they are talking with two mouths.
Let me tell you, Dr. Matanga, if you want God to destroy you, if you want God to destroy you, play him. Who destroyed King Saul from leadership? It was not David. If David wanted so much for King Saul to remain alive, it is God who fought with Saul himself. The day you play God to speak with both sides, this one and this one, you steal with this hand, you give with this hand. I'm telling you, God himself is going to destroy you. I had a preacher say one time, anointing, which is God's power to do something, anointing exalts you. But
yes, we seem to have lost you there.
Oh, we need him back.
It's really hot.
Now, wait. Because COVID, you have brought us to this level we're about to summarize, and Miriam has to share her program.
Yes, that one is for tomorrow, yes.
Yes, diplomatic dispatches later on or in the evening. We can play it. Let me now say one thing. On a serious note, that international or globally, COVID-19 is being used to sort out Africa. Do you agree that COVID-19 is going to be used to sort out Africa? If we are not careful, Africa is going to have a lot of insecurity as a result of COVID-19. Ask me how. Kabuga. You have been talking of COVID. Why did the French decide to release Kabuga during COVID-19?
So you cannot go.
Do you know what
cannot go back to Rwanda? Maybe.
No. You are a security expert.
They can charter a private flight.
And analyze here. Kabuga was facilitated to go to Paris by Mr. Kofi Annan. Kabuga banked his money in Switzerland. Where is the home of Kofi Annan?
His wife is from Switzerland.
No, the wife is French.
Switzerland.
No,
they speak French in Switzerland.
Yes, there's one part of Switzerland is near the. If you go to Geneva, if you walk down the airport, you have been there. Walk towards your left, you will be in France.
One part speaks French, the other one, I think, German or something.
No, the airport itself is divided in two.
In France, almost France.
But Kofi Annan's wife is a French.
She's called
from the oligarchy.
Nan.
Oligarchy. Kofi Annan's wife is a French officer, DSDE.
That is equivalent of CID or NSIS.
No, equivalent of Mossad.
Mossad.
Where?
No, I'm mentioning the local names so people can understand. NIS or CID.
Mossad in Israel. Yes.
No, it has to be localized.
So, Mr. Kabuga was never in Kenya. You wanted to say Kabuga, the money Kabuga banked in Kenya is more than he banked in France. I have seen some people this morning saying, they ask Kenya, you ask Kenya for what? You know why they have brought Kabuga? They want to bring us into their politics of Kabuga and Rwanda and the reminders and the French who are creating the problem today globally in the global security. The French. Who are the rebels in northern Mozambique? Who is arming them? Total Oil. Who is, you see, for you when you have come on this program, it's do or die. And when you get out, you know you either have a bullet or you have no bullet.
Yes.
Because this program talks it as it is.
It's true.
It is the French. Why Tanzania is against you? Do you know why? Do you know why?
Well, there are several reasons.
Can I tell you for free?
Bring it on. I can guess it's the project in Tanga Port.
And then Mutwara, Dar es Salaam, Ruvuma, Nachingwea. Is there no railway going there? Is there no railway? Since the Hehe rebellion, the Majimaji rebellion, there has never been a road out of that place. The French said they would dig a railway to arrive in northern. It's like someone said, President Uhuru opened a railway to nowhere. The railway that is being done by the French is to nowhere.
It's going nowhere.
500 French people disappeared in Tanzania. Railway workers. You a security man, I want you to check. Where did they go? Why did Magufuli close the relationship with France and stop the railway? Why? The men who came to dig the railway were not workers on the railway. These were mercenaries. They have now brought a problem in northern Mozambique,
yes.
Spilling over to Zimbabwe, because they have been itching to touch the monomoto kingdom of that man Mugabe. So if you are a security expert, Mr. Mijiwe, land is global problem under COVID. Tanzania is not annoyed with you for nothing. Will you want that man from the border talking as if Kenyans have never given him food?
Very, very personal, even.
Personal. Why? They are very upset. Have you ever seen Nkurunziza talking to you?
No.
Does Nkurunziza like Kenya?
No.
Who is Nkurunziza?
President of Burundi.
And who supports him in power today?
Tanzania.
Paramount leader.
France.
France, of course. France.
Now come slowly. Why doesn't Nkurunziza talk to us? when he was fighting for freedom, Nairobi gave him support, isn't it?
Yeah.
He got a lot of support from Nairobi, but he doesn't like to see us. Why?
Doctor.
Every meeting the East African heads of state crawl, Nkurunziza does not attend, even on phone,
even with
even on Zoom. He thinks that they are going to overthrow him on Zoom.
On Zoom, correct.
And the last meeting
where is the problem? And I take you back to Mr. Bijiwe, that when we had a show sometime last year, I told you there was a proxy war in Africa, in East Africa. Do you now agree?
I agree. There's proxy war and
Kabuga was given all this green light by the UN, late UN Secretary General, to settle in Paris.
The then Secretary General.
Don't bring us your problems. Let Kenya tell Paris, sort your mess.
Sort your mess, yes. They have been trying to implicate Kenya Defense Forces. That Kenya Defense Forces.
They want to implicate the people here.
No, they said there was a story. There's a story they ran. Sorry, there's a story they ran in the local dailies that that Kabuga had been dressed like a military colonel in Kenya and given Kenya Defense Forces protection to live in Kenya. All that was crap. Dr. Matsanga, I've come from the military. Even to start a small shop, a kiosk to sell soap in a military camp is a problem. So the military watches itself. You cannot do monkey business in the military. Not the general, not the brigadiers, not the colonels, not the majors, not even the junior officers. Nobody can do monkey business in Kenyan military. It's one of the most sanctified institutions of our country. Then you tell me Kabuga was a military colonel. What kind of nonsense is that?
Now you can see what I told you. You thank me, you, especially you expert, for having opened your eye.
And by the way,
that's why I'm a general.
The new title for Nkurunziza is Paramount Leader Major, just in case you didn't know.
He got a new title?
Yes. With that, I'm giving you time to come with Nkurunziza. Has elevated himself to a paramount leader.
After he retires, yes. Paramount leader.
After he retired.
Are we talking of something like Supreme Leader or Chairman King?
Like an Ayatollah or something. I don't know.
Ayatollah. You'll be the Ayatollah of Burundi.
Now, the Kenyan system and the Kenyans, listen to me. They want to implicate Kenya. And me, I always tell you these things, then they come to. They want to say, issue warrants to several Kenyan former officials and the president officials, claiming that the problem was in Africa. Time has come for foreign affairs to defend Kenya, and that's why I'm bringing this subject now. That under COVID-19, they will say we want to talk to the former so and so. We want to, because my lawyer is the best boy in the world. Chief Taku, you know him. And the Chief Taku is the one representing Mr. Kabuga. And when Matsanga talks, Chief talks. When the Chief talks, Matsanga talks. Kenyans, be careful. And let the security agencies of Kenya be careful. That they are trying to get warrants to get people here whom they claim worked with Kabuga. Now, that's why France has been itching. That's why Tanzania is threatening us. Do you know where Kabuga's trial will be?
Tanzania.
In
Arusha.
Yes. The Arusha, yes. The ICC court in Arusha.
So, it is the beneficiary. Now, Kenyan officials who were purported to have hidden this man will be also
taken over there for prosecution.
To explain, to freeze their property, to freeze all these things. Jermaine, if I am wrong, watch the space. Kabuga was in Paris under Kofi Annan Foundation arrangement. And the earlier Kenya government finds out this. Don't be threatened by Raila being a friend of Kofi Annan. I'm not bothered. If Raila goes to that, we also hammer him. Me, the one you see here, I don't care. If he goes that route of defending Kofi Annan that is his friend, tutampiga huko mawe, itakuwa mingi. Leave us fight this guy. This Kofi Annan left a very bad legacy. He oversighted the killing of 1 million Tutsis.
Yes.
Now they kept Kabuga to reach a senile stage. Senile, 84. It's senile. You can't remember what you did. So there is nothing we are going to get out of this. They brought him. He's suffering from cancer. He will collapse before the trial begins. Have you seen how we Africans are stupid?
Yeah.
Are we not stupid? Hasn't he hit you? Kofi Annan made his money. The wife made him make money. The wife is a member of GDE, external. With another man called Annan, Nana, Dr. Nana. You remember Dr. Nana who came for elections to rig here for ODM? Tuliweka kwa ndege wanarudi. Huyo na mwingine from. If you hear those, run, my dear Africa, run. Those are mercenaries. Jeffrey Smith is a mercenary. If we had allowed Jeffrey Smith in this country, by now, Daniel Wesonga would have been a mercenary. And other people, we are coming to train them. Have you seen what is happening regionally, global security in Zimbabwe? We have a problem there. Vanguard Africa, mercenaries go and abduct 2 MPs.
3.
Women who were opposing Chamisa in MDC. Beat them, then throw them somewhere. Then they went to BBC to say, aha, look at Mnangagwa's government. Vanguard Africa. I've given you a lot to be sure you might not sleep well tonight.
No. Wetonga, you've been listening to all this.
Yes.
Yes. Here we are always now. Sometimes we get into the history class to learn more about whatever is happening, and so we are more used to this.
Yes, and I would like to ask President Uhuru Kenyatta, usikubali watu wa France wakudanganye, waambie wewe mzee, do us this, do you what? Where is more money? Where did Kabuga bank more money? In Kenya or in France? Wacha tuweke mbele. Jamen, don't accept it. And you, especially you in Bikiwe.
Yes.
They are going to call you to another television. Then you say, we condemn those officials. Which officials? Where are they?
No. I don't condemn any official, and for Alishan Kabuga, I think even his protectors in France, there are many theories why they give him up now. One theory I heard prominently is his protectors may have contracted the COVID-19 and died maybe in the course of it, because there is a lot of death now happening in the world. 2, this one came. No. The second. I'm telling you the theories.
Order. Can I tell you, Major?
Yes.
They killed them. You have been in the army, and this don't lie to our audience. Students will never like you.
He's saying the theories.
Yes.
Don't. Because if you talk that, the students might think they are contracted COVID-19. Mossad, once you touch them and you walk this planet, they will kill you.
Well, by the way, you hear the ambassador of China. The ambassador of China in Israel died.
Do you remember Savimbi? Where is he?
Jonas.
Didn't he work for the CIA?
He did.
Where is he now? He's swimming in Atlantic Ocean, that side.
It's the same direction
So
with the Osama
you just said the truth that the French, after eliminating every evidence, don't say they have brought Kabuga for us to enjoy.
No.
They have finished. They want to appease Kagame, and then Kagame thinks he's all right in the books. Kagame has already surrendered. He is the foreign minister to head the French organization called the Francophone. Musikiwambo. Have you seen where the problem is?
Oh, Kagame has taken Kagame has taken Rwanda back to the French?
Exactly. So the problem is this. After fixing him there, remember they used to arrest everybody of Kagame intelligence in Paris.
In South Africa?
No, Paris first. Wacha to concentrate hapo. Pale ya bibi ya Kofi Annan. Ndio yeye mkubwa sana hapo kwa hiyo chama. Bibi ya Kofi Annan is a senior officer there. Usicheze na yeye mama huyo, anakufunga. Mimi nilifika pale fulani kwa ICC, niliona moto namna hivi bwana. Have you seen the flash? Niliruka. Because I was told I will be finished. Now, look at what they did. They sold food for oil for food in Iraq. Have you ever heard of any case?
No. Annan's son did it.
Now let me finish you and even give you more heart attack. Where is the biggest bank of George Soros?
Are you saying Switzerland or France?
Paris. God bless you.
No wonder.
If you look at the biggest banking institution in France, is owned by Mr. George Soros. Now you tell me, where was Kabuga's account? Answer for me. Kabuga's account was in George Soros' account, where Kofi Annan used to draw money for Kofi Annan Foundation and supply to Africa peanuts, eat the rest. There is no technical school in Accra for Kofi Annan. The money of Kabuga is known to Mr. Kofi Annan's family as a former Secretary General. When you die in Switzerland, your PIN number goes with you. Where does the money go? Kabuga's PIN number is gone. Switzerland will create more money to give you as an aid. What do they call it? Donation. Learn international relations.
Grants.
Medium, learn that way. There is a problem. Kabuga's being brought, Tanzania being very annoyed with us. They are going to get a lot of taxation, a lot of rebates, a lot of money poured in Rwanda. The hiring, you get the point, the hiring of the whole, of Kabuga, the prison, the money given to protect him. They will say Kagame can come and kill him, bring us protection. Have you seen where Tanzania is heading? We are done. So, COVID-19, Miriam, in summary, bring us home. Let's begin with our guest, or our guest will summarize our feelings. But for me, that's me. Key things have come out of this global security. One, we are weak in foreign policy.
Kenya.
Evil. Bible men. Everybody pray a Bible. And they are also now being infiltrated by George Soros. You know, Ichungwa is George Soros' #1 blue-boyed boy in Kenya.
Who?
Ichung'wah Kimani. You didn't know.
Well, I know the most.
Now I'm giving you something to follow up. Why does Ichung'wah get the money to do all his projects that his constituency can say there is no more any land demand with a blame except you to pass an opposed? Have you noticed that Ichung'wah has links? Ichung'wah left me in a restaurant in The Hague, and I went somewhere to meet George Soros in Turkey, executive director. And they told me he was going to come back with money to pay the bill. To date, he has not paid my bill of 800 euros. So if you look at... Yeah, they're watching it, Chome. No, the rest, I have the receipts. But in Kenya, watch the politics. Because we are discussing global security, regional security. If we are not careful, the George Soros will come. The trouble is going to spark from the vaccine. Have you seen the vaccine bringing Bill Gates towards jail? Have you seen the vaccine bringing the World Health Organization towards resignation? Have you seen the whole of Europe? 4 weeks ago, Miriam and I, we were doing this topic. I told Miriam, the whole 169 countries now want the World Health Organization out. So there you are. Global COVID-19 is gonna change the world global security. That is my summary from me, and I just now want to guide one by one with Songa, your comments. Last,
I think you've summed it up well. You put it in a nutshell. I don't really think I have much to add on what you said. Of course, we do have a security issue, and it really need to be checked on through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They need to be reacting to such provocative and acts of provocation, rather, with the urgency and the seriousness that it requires. Otherwise, these will set a precedence where our sovereignty as a country is infringed by our neighbors. So that is something that our Ministry of Foreign Affairs really have to put seriously into consideration. So that is my parting shots. I believe the rest has been covered by you.
Thank you very much. Miriam?
I think mine...
Before we come, the guest is last.
Yes. That's okay.
He's our father of consultants.
Of security matters. That's okay.
To have you here every Wednesday, please, sir. Every Tuesday. Is it, Miriam?
Today's
every Tuesday.
Yes.
At 11.
Okay.
So that we continue with this type of, it's not the same subject. Some matter would have come up. And if you have also something that you want to teach us,
sure.
You can panel, and we can be
the guests,
people to be interrogated.
Yes, sir.
In fact, I am more interested in to be hammered.
Yes.
Hammered, to be eaten. Ukule mimi tuone.
Kabisa.
I'm heavy banana.
I can tell. That is clear.
So you can come with the topic, share it with Miriam. We give it to Miriam to hammer. You can hammer me anytime. We want to have an interactive security section. Talk about security matters. Talk about building our capacity. Talk about building the capacity of the police, the capacity of intelligence system. How our intelligence system affecting us in COVID-19. That is going to be the best show that Africa will come to. Miriam.
All right, thank you, Doctor, there. And indeed, it will be a pleasure to be having on a regular retired Major Binjiwe to be joining us. His knowledge on security matters in this country and indeed in the region will be, well received by our viewers there. So what we've noted, of course, with concern, and perhaps all of us would agree, is that, Doctor, you've said there, our international relations, how we deal with some things that are being meted towards us as Kenya is quite lacking. And of course, it has come out and very apparent that our Ministry of Foreign Affairs needs to do a lot. We just don't want a minister there for formalities. We want a minister there that can work and that can represent this country as Kenyans would expect to be represented there, and matters articulated in a way that Kenyans will be comfortable with the person in charge. So the person who's in charge in that ministry right now, perhaps President Uhuru Kenyatta needs to review. I don't know, maybe she needs to do more in that regard. But three countries, or rather Kenya needs to be very decisive with these three countries, and that is Ethiopia, Somalia, and Tanzania. And for these reasons, we saw doctors who were giving that breakdown on the April 14th. The tension was high in Moyale town after Ethiopian gunmen said to be unhappy with the closure of Kenyan border to arrest the spread of coronavirus attacked a team of local contractors. We saw how Uganda, closed the border between Kenya and Uganda. The President Museveni, after the COVID-19 cases were rising in the country, and he said, no, we will not allow the movement of people in this border. And we did not see any gunmen from Kenya going to attack any security forces in Uganda. We respected that because President Museveni has a responsibility to protect the people of Uganda, and Kenya respected that decision by Uganda. So why Ethiopian gunmen would come to attack us because the Kenyan government has closed that border, and yet the government of Ethiopia has not issued any statement or any regret or any nothing, has not even come out to address that matter. I think that is wanting, and it is perhaps time that Kenya went and reviewed our relationship with Ethiopia moving forward and see how Kenya can be dealing decisively. And that is not to mention even that plane that was attacked there in Somalia by Ethiopian forces. And also we've seen there Somalia. We've seen the manner in which it has been dealing with Kenya, and Kenya have tried the way to diplomacy. That has not been working very well for us. I'm not saying Kenya should be overly aggressive. We don't want. We have enough wars in this region. We don't want to start any more. But Kenya should be more decisive in how it is dealing with Somalia. Diplomacy is good, but we need to stamp our feet more harder so that we can they can understand, where we're coming from. Coming with peace is good, but also now we need more decisive action in terms of dealing with Somalia and Tanzania. I don't know. From President Uhuru Kenyatta, while closing the border of Tanzania, I think from weeks now, I personally have been calling on the government of Kenya and President Uhuru Kenyatta to close the border between Kenya and Tanzania because of how President Magufuli has responded to the COVID-19, or the lack of. He's not really put a lot of effort in responding to the COVID-19 in the country. So President Uhuru Kenyatta, after waiting and being very diplomatic and being very lenient, after receiving a report from the task force that is, has been tasked to look at the COVID-19 situation in the country, the Ministry of Health, President Uhuru Kenyatta made that pronouncement for the interest of the people of Kenya, but also it was in the interest of the people of Kenya. So I was hoping President Magufuli there would understand, and it was just a COVID-19 matter until this is sorted out. Normalcy will resume in that area. But the way the government of Tanzania has responded to this, what is now apparent, it is just not a COVID-19 thing, as Kenya probably would have thought. We see they have more underlying issues with Kenya. They've been a bit aggressive in the past, banning the chicken. You remember, I don't know if you can remember, blocking some trade, traders accessing Tanzania in before. And Kenya has been very diplomatic in the manner in which it has been handling this matter. So on Tanzania also, Kenyan government should be very decisive. If somebody will not meet you the way you're coming with peace and diplomacy, I don't know if it's not working for us. Which way can Kenya go? But on these three countries, Kenya needs to be more decisive moving forward.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Lastly, our guest and our consultant security expert, Major Retired Binjiwe.
First of all,
you are the teacher for this.
Yes.
Tell us, and I like the word where Songa and Miriam they have used. At times we come to learn history, and we become powerful students in the future. Believe me or not, if you are doing your course, that was taken to that place by UN itself. But UN went around and put a warrant of arrest with $1 million to catch Kabuga. What? Have you ever heard of UN investigating Ocampo? Hakuna. Have you ever heard of Rwanda report from UN? Petier. So tell me, the floor is yours.
First, I thank you very much for having me on this show, Dr. Matsanga. Always interacting with you is immense opportunity to learn and grow my knowledge. And I know among your students, I'm a very loyal student. I learn very voraciously, and I've promised you as years go by, I'll take the burden, and the same impact you have in the region, I shall have, learning from the best in the region, and which is yourself. I thank my colleagues also for being in this show, Tsonga and my sister. It's been immense, and I look forward to being with us every Tuesday and any other time that you need me. We are also very popular in the night shows, Dr. Matsanga.
Oh,
the
yes.
evening ones. So whenever you need...
I think I will choose a nice diplomatic leaks tonight as Mr. Because of this.
Yeah, whenever you need me, I will...
Tonight.
Sure, whenever you need me.
Now we can do it on Zoom.
No problem. Yeah, whenever you need me. Whenever you need, Zoom is okay. Whenever you need me, let me know. I will always be available. So my closing remarks will be in the line of what my sister said, the three countries in the region, Somalia, Tanzania, and Ethiopia. These countries need to know that there is a doctrine of reciprocity in international relations, that I treat you the way you treat me. But since they do not want to take the reciprocity of treating us the way we treat them first, so we will take the second reciprocity, which is to treat them the way they treat us. And
are you saying, like Museveni said yesterday, that if they don't learn, we shall teach them?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Because
force them to learn.
Because you see, all these leaders, at least they understand diplomacy to a certain extent, that you treat your neighbor the way they treat you. We have been so kind and nice to them over the years, but how they treat us has never been reciprocal to how we treat them. So now we will teach them how to treat us. We will now go the Museveni way and enforce the reaction we expect from them of our respect. And therefore, I urge the Kenyan leaders to stop playing nice with these nations. Let's play hardball with these nations. In fact, sometimes it's when you play hard that people respect you. And for Tanzania, the citizens of Tanzania are most beloved to the citizens of Kenya. We are friends, we have no problem with the citizens. However, we have problem with this rogue leadership from the top, President Magufuli and his people. The other day, Magufuli forced the Kenyan television to apologize like children for a whole week on TV, saying sorry. What the heck is wrong with President Magufuli? Now, we demand that he also apologizes to that television. We demand that he apologizes to the Republic of Kenya and that official at the border who was completely ethnic and spewed hatred on Kenyans. We demand that he is sacked from work and that his place is taken by someone who respects Kenya. If not, we permanently need to shut that border down. Even after COVID-19, Tanzania needs to go on its knees for us to open that border. Ethiopia needs to pay our aircraft. If they don't pay that aircraft, there's no more relations. We have properties of Ethiopians in this country. We will seize them to recover our aircraft. And for Somalia, I can't say much. That's our small brother. We just need to cane his back a little bit so that they have some respect for their elder brother.
Thank you very much, all of you viewers. I want to bring to a close, as Shakespeare said, there comes a time when you come, you play, you leave the stage for others to play. I believe Mijiwe, an Air Force man, read the book of Shakespeare by Macbeth. Julius Caesar. I believe that Miriam and the rest have continued to read the same. That when you see the comets in the sky, however much you read the Bible, you will not remove the comets. They still remain there. And for the president, remember Julius Caesar. He said, and the wife of Julius Caesar told Julius Caesar, the Cassius and Brutus are plotting. Mr. President, this night meeting, that Cassius and Brutus, senators from the Roman Empire, sit in and plot, take this first preemptive strike. Don't hit the Bible. Hit, because the Bible is the word of God. But remember, St. Luke, chapter 17, verse 11 to 19. The 10 lepers, since Ruto talks in languages, tongues, let me also talk in tongues. But I have signs. When Jesus healed them, 9 of them disappeared. That when he needed the Senate of Charangai of Nandi, he disappeared. Remember? You might need a foreigner to help you. Jesus discovered that the one disciple who came back was a foreigner, a Samaritan, Samaria. And I believe all of you in different languages of yours. Samaria, Samaritan, Samaria arrived and helped Dr. William Ruto. So, look at that verse. As we march now, we have got to go to these Bibles with some Miriam and Wesonga. Always carried in here because Luke was using it to threaten us. Let's also protect ourselves with it. And I want to thank you very much for this Frontline Security Show. It has been fantastic. Another friend of mine here has sent me a message, said, hey, this is the type of television is changed. 4 men, 3 men, 1 lady. Our usual lady in the blue corner. Always in the, you see, if you put a woman in the right corner, then you have a problem. Women are supposed to be caressed, looked after with the left hand side. And I'm teaching Wesonga here, who has not married yet. You never use the right. Have you ever moved with your girlfriend on the right hand side? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you very much, Miriam. In the blue corner, always my sister, you remain in my words. I always thank you for making sure that I pray for you every morning. You wake up, then you can give me more energy in the COVID-1 global insecurity and the security upsets. People cannot travel. Violence is on the high. Money laundering is moving by legs, and the rest of these things. I want to thank our guest this morning. Thank you, sir, for honoring the invitation. Asante, asante yote. This station, therefore, is for Africa, with Africa, by Africa, Charles, Aso, 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 Aso.
peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.